Hello everyone, Eidloy here with another update. After working on it for a long time, the theming for Sickle UI is finally crossing the finishing line. What that means is that in a couple of days, I will merge it to the main branch in Sickle UI repository. Why a couple of days? I still have to write documentation, so that will take at least a day to finish. But I want to create that so that anybody who gets the new version actually has a guideline or a description of what to look at and how to start using Sickle UI with the theming included. So I have to wrap that up, and there are a few minor things that I have to hand down that looks weird. For instance, this little tab, sometimes it flashes the highlight there, which should not be there. So I will quickly fix that, and we'll move on to the documentation. And to review what I have done for the past 3 weeks, I believe. So the menus are now updated, like the rest of the thing. So you have the proper themed menus. I have also started using the font icons here, and those are also part of the theming now. So if I were to switch over to light, warning, this will be light. The menu also changes the color of the icons, not the regular icons, so not the texture ones. I figured that it's better to keep the original color of the icons rather than trying to recolor them. But the font icons work. I have also updated, of course, the tabs, the radio buttons, the checkbox you have already seen. I have sliders now, both horizontal and vertical, and the general containers like the sized zones. And yeah, that's it. I think basically every widget that was used or created before the theming is now using theming. And okay, not this one. That's also something I forgot to actually update, but this should be simple enough. Anyway, to show you how it's going to work moving forward, this little bar at the bottom, this footer, is currently not using the theming. So if I were to warning it, light warning, change the theme, it's not actually updating because this is just a regular component that's been added to the example. But we can quickly turn that into a proper widget. I have a couple of snippets for Visual Studio Code, so you should be able to do something like this, for example, and we just name it, give it a name, and give it a function name. Oh, of course, I made the mistake there, but that's all right. We don't really care how that particular thing is called. In any case, if I were to go and look at where it's used, let's go there. As you can see, this is just a simple node which has a color and such, but I'm just going to remove this and use our wonderful builder. There is currently nothing in this, so we don't really care about it. What you have seen here is that the snippet generated all of the necessary components to just start creating the styling for the extension. And the key part here is that we have the component which has a default theme, And then the theme is coming from this part. This is the base theme for it. So what we are going to do now is I'm going to paste here the original style, and then just quickly go through it and maybe style, well, maybe not all of the styles, but we are going to use the theme actually. And I'm going to copy over the menu bar for this because it already has the right, maybe not the padding, the right setup, more or less. So let's see, what do we have here? We have a width 100%, a height 24, which is, this medium area in the theme spacing that I have is defaulting to 24, so that's correct. And we want a top border for this. And then just to keep it organized, let's start with the border color and then a background color. And the other thing that's here is the justify content. So let's put this here. So we have the flex direction. I'm not going to put there because that's the default one, the row actually, so I don't really care. We have the border and the colors. And I think we can add this one there. So the actual tag is added to it. And that should be it. Except we do not have the plugin yet. As you can see, for theming, you need to add the plugin which handles all of the necessary thing to apply your correct theme to something based on the context of it. I'm just going to add the plugin that we generated, and then just hope for the best. Oops, that did not work out. Let's see, what did I do wrong? Oh, yes. My mistake. The thing is, that was unnecessary. So the snippet is actually correct because it's injecting the tag in the extension. The reason for this is because most of the components that use theming will not be just a tag. So it's usually better to just add it from the outside. And there you go. Now we have a bar here, which is hopefully a warning, changing colors based on the theme, which is exactly what we wanted to see here. So that's about it, and that's all it takes to generate a new one. It takes a bit more time to convert an existing one because you probably have to type out half of this. But for new users, this should be easy enough to create. And this one was a simple themed plugin which does not have a real context. So we only style the main container of the thing and not, parts of it. If you were to style parts of it, like a label inside a button, there is also a snippet to do that. And I'm going to write this all out into the documentation, so you can just go to the repository, pick it up, and start using it. And again, it's going to take 1 or 2 days to wrap this up. But once it's done, I will just merge it, and that should be it. So anyway, what's next? Let's talk about what's next. So in the context of Sickle UI, which is not game development, it's not part of the game that I'm trying to build. It's part of the toolbox that is necessary to build the game. And the games editor, and everything that I will be using to do that will come from Sickle UI, or I will probably create another crate to hold higher components, like the hierarchy that you have seen in the sample editor, or the entity component viewer and scene view and things like that. Those should probably be extracted. They are more like example content rather than actually something you should depend on. But it's still in the future, because currently Sickle UI has two major flaws. It does not handle focus in the context of navigating the UI. So no keyboard navigation and no focus management centralized for all of the UI content that you have, which is something that needs to be implemented, and I plan to do that. However, there is another component to it that I want to implement before going to the focus management, and that is text. Currently, Bevy has text capabilities. You can render text. It's not great. As you have seen in all of my videos, the text in the sample that I'm showing all the time is kind of blurry here and there. That was a bug, of course. It's already fixed, so once Bevy goes to the next version, which is, I think, is going to be soon, very, very soon, that should go away. But it doesn't solve the problem of text. It's rudimentary. It's not something that can be easily used to do fancy text drawing and manipulation. So what I intend to do is actually create my own text rendering and text components and text management and everything that is text. It's going to be a coding adventure, and I have linked a video in the description, and I encourage you to go check it out, because that video is going to be, well, it's the one that gave me ideas, let's say. I'm not going to copy it, because what's the fun in that? So I intend to just take it as a starting point and do my own thing. But the point is that I want to create text rendering, my own text crate as part of Sickle UI, which is going to be, again, in Bevy for Bevy. So everything is going to be ECS components based, and the rendering is also going to be based on what Bevy provides. So that's the next step that I'm going to turn into once I'm done with merging all this. And the last thing that I'm currently missing to really turn Sickle UI into a crate that you can just depend on is related to the rendering in Bevy, rendering of the UI more specifically. Currently the UI is rendered, but it's not something that you can, for instance, mask. You cannot generate a circular mask or a pie chart type mask where you can incrementally reveal a circular pattern, for instance, or anything. And that's something that I want to solve, so that I can solve another issue that I have with the current UI implementation in Bevy, which is picking, as in interacting with elements, which works. Don't take it the wrong way, it works, but it's currently just squares. You can interact with squares. I think the rounded borders that's coming in the next version will, of course, well, hopefully, take care of not interacting with the borders that are rounded off. But that's a little lackluster. If I have an image that is not a square-ish shape, that I want to interact with, but only when I'm actually over a part of the image that is visible, I want to be able to interact with the image and at that point. And this is not possible at the moment. It is also not possible to interact with word space UI. So you cannot render your UI onto a render texture, put it into the Word and interact with it. So to solve that, I'm also going to create my own GPU picking approach along with the mask and stencil for the UI. But that's later down the line. For now, I'm going to focus on the text because it sounds fun. And I think it's also going to be meaningful to do based on the current discussions on the Discord channels. And then after text, focus management, because text requires I mean, not text itself, but manipulating text. So a text box, text area, and things like that requires focus management so that you can, select, copy, paste parts of the text. So that's what I'm going to focus on, pun intended, afterwards. But for now, let me merge it. Let me create the documentation, and then I'm going to dive into text drawing. And until then, you have fun. Ciao, ciao.